shows at Treasure Island this year, including Joe Bonamassa, August 15th, Snoop Dogg, September 5th, Ron White, October 17th. Get all the details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Back here at the New Winter Park TCO Performance Center in Eagan, site of Vikings Training Camp 2026. Fans beginning to slowly meander into the grandstand area, getting ready to watch a second day of full padded practices. I'm Calm, and he's 10 to be. The legendary Mark Rosen joins us now. 65 training camps. You've covered 64 of them. You only missed the very first one in 1961.
In Bemidji?
In Bemidji.
There have been a couple of them in Bemidji.
Think about they had it up in Bemidji.
I know. I saw some old video that someone, obviously, like a home camera, maybe one of your relatives had one of those cameras,
sure,
video cameras, and silent, no sound on it. But I saw some of the established veterans, even going back to Fran Tarkenton and Eller and a couple of guys, going through the little drills up in Bemidji and thinking that had to be a pretty. And Van Broecklyn was the head coach, and imagine a beautiful setting by the lake, and I mean, compared to some of the other places they've been.
Well, Mankato's was 60 miles away from the Twin Cities,
90.
roughly 90 miles. Is it that far?
I think so. I just drove there Friday. We went down there to.
It's not 90. Because guys are making it there in 45 minutes, and I know they drive fast.
45 minutes?
Yeah, but that ain't 90.
Well, if they're going 40 minutes.
Bemidji is probably about 3 hours, 3.5 hours from here. Imagine trying to make curfew back then for the Twin Cities.
I don't think Van Broecklyn much cared about that. I don't think the players much cared about that. They were a new team and just kind of figuring things out, and I'm sure they pushed the buttons in a lot of different ways. It was interesting going back, speaking of Mankato, going back there Friday, a lot of the old-timers, like to call them, went back to...
Including yourself, you're an old-timer.
Yeah, I am. Went back down there to... And not that they're, Gage is gone, Gage Hall is gone, and Blakesley is still there, although there's a big capital fund project going on to build, and I'm sure people who either going to Minnesota State Mankato or know about it, they had diagrams of they're going to build a new football field, new facilities, and pretty spectacular. So there wasn't as much to see, I think, from their standpoint, but we all gathered at Jake's Pizza, led by Mr. Pizza himself, Bob Hagan, and Tom West from the Vikings, of course, and then a number of the players came down there as well, and hospitality.
I like pizza. I like hospitality.
Well,
Why wasn't I invited?
Well, because you're not. I don't know. You were on the air at that time on Friday.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah. We were down there, and
Tennessee, you like hospitality?
I love hospitality.
We're both extended family members.
Well, don't
Why
ask
weren't
me.
we invited?
Ask Hagan. Ask Tom West. I don't know.
By the way, I played golf with Meat Sauce, Doc Donaldson, and one of the other members of the club, a guy named Andrew, who was really good. He shot 73, and he didn't play well. I even looked at him. I said, "What'd you shoot today?" He goes, 73. I go, "You didn't play very well, did you?" And he said, "You're right." Because he just got one of those muck it around 73s, right?
Yeah, muck it around.
No, but I'm serious.
Scrambling.
Getting up and down and hitting a few offline shots, but draining a few putts. And Meat Sauce, the first thing he wanted to do was he was ripping you the entire round.
Well, he doesn't have a life other than his wonderful son,
And I was sticking
Louis.
up for you.
What was
first.
he ripping me about? I don't even see him anymore.
And so I started sticking up for you. But then I noticed how much fun he had ripping you, and he was laughing, so I started ripping you too. We spent the whole time making fun of you.
Those guys are a little bored in the morning. They really don't have a lot of subject matter that they can talk about. No. It's a pretty small group, discussion group.
Well, put it this way. If you like reliving the 8th grade...
8th?
Listen to that show every morning.
Where'd you get the extra 3 grades? I'm going to see Meat Sauce, I think, Friday. I think.
Really? What are you going to do?
I don't know. His buddy, Nick, our buddy, not his buddy, our buddy, Nick Swartz is in town, so I think we're getting together, the 3 of us. So, and maybe others. I don't know. But, yeah, I'll be seeing him on Friday.
I like
going
get-togethers.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should expand your social skills, so... Anyway, it's good to be
I'm
back.
I'm a homebody. I'd rather be
if we get invited sometimes to these events, maybe we could expand
I have nothing to do with it. I didn't do the inviting. I was just asked. So, anyway, Mankato was fun. I enjoyed going back down there. Did bring back some memories, good and bad, about, when you look at the facilities down there. And it was... talked to a lot of the guys. Robert Griffith was down there. And
Ding.
JT, a lot. Turner and Everson Griffin was there as well, and a number of players that obviously had been around, and they had a whole weekend. It was kind of early Legends weekend, and they were all here on Saturday when they had a packed grandstand for practice, and then they had a huge ceremony honoring the late Corey Stringer. His widow was here, and it was a long time coming, but Kelsey and the Vikings and Ziggy Wilf was here, kind of mended their whatever fractured sort of relationship they had. Speaking of Bob Hagan, there he is, making Jake's Pizza. So that was real good, real productive. I know our guy Pete Bursich helped MC the program, so it was a big success.
I like Pete.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I'd like to have been there.
Well, you could have. You have a media pass. It wasn't like an invitation only. What do you mean you could have been there? Just walk in the gate with your media pass. You're such a...
What's it like being you? It's a pretty good gig.
Well, it's limping around.
Beloved by everybody.
Not me, Sauce, apparently.
He was ripping you.
He was ripping me.
Yeah.
Ran into Maury Amsterdam guy today.
Really?
At my place, my humble abode, and this is how it went. I was down there picking up my mail, and with my cane and limping around. And he goes, "Hey, it looks like you're doing really well." And I said, "Yeah, yesterday. In fact, my surgeon's out here today, Dr. Wolf, WULF. He's one of the Vikings team's doctors, and I saw him yesterday for my 6-week follow-up. And
he did the surgery? Wolf?
Yeah. Dr. Wolf did, not Maury Amsterdam guy. Yeah, yes, he did. So he's out here today doing his other job. I didn't know it was Maury Amsterdam. I haven't seen him forever. So I said, so then he texted me, he goes, that was me. I went, why didn't you say something? I was in awe of being in your presence. He made something up about that.
Well, it's true.
And I said, well, anyway. And then he...
How do you get Dr. Wolf to do your knee surgery?
What do you mean? I didn't get to do it. I mean, he's available for everyone.
Oh, he is? Oh, okay.
Well, he's one of a number of doctors that works at...
It's you and other guys at the fan are always dropping these names of Team Sheldon and Wolf, and you guys have all these...
Burns is a
you have all these inside
for
connections with all these...
Oh, my God. Sheldon is a physician for a million
Where
people.
Where did we go wrong, Teneby? Where does that the women fancy whoever we get?
I don't. I'm not suggesting
Rosey gets the best of the best.
Well, I don't. There are a lot of very.
Go to a line on whatever one's available for me.
That's the
well, that's the way it works.
Not unless you're Mark Rosen.
I don't think Dr. Wolf, as accomplished as he is, I'm sure he'd be the first to admit there are many others that are very, very capable. And it's all about the rehab anyway.
Well, I saw you during the break. You were doing some rehab exercises.
Well, I'm at 100. Yesterday I got 125 degree bend right now, which is really good for 6 weeks. So as you can tell, I can bend my knee back right now. And obviously, I'm driving. Still very sore. And still doing a lot of. But yeah, you got to keep doing the exercises. So I got to get ready for the season.
What did you think of what Kevin O'Connell had to say?
When today or yesterday?
Yeah, no, today.
I mean. Kind of the same old. There's nothing new. I mean, we could go back to, you talk about how many training camps I've covered, whether it's Bud or I guess with the exception of Les Steckel, which was
Jerry Burns.
Mitigated. Yeah, Burnsy would be a little different.
Childress.
Burnsy would have more of a colorful way of answering. I can imagine if Burnsy was asked, and I'm sure he had his, I'm thinking going back to the quarterbacks he had with Tommy Kramer, Wade Wilson, and I don't know if there were a lot of controversies involved with it, but Burnsy by now would have been so fed up with the line of questioning about the quarterbacks. He would have dropped some very colorful 4-letter words and
maybe
said,
Burnsy should have answered the question then.
Well, he did.
Oh.
He basically said, "Don't ask it to me. I'm not going to. There's nothing else to say about it. Bleepity bleepity bleep." And that would have been the end of the. And then we all would have laughed. They had a good laugh about it, including Burnsy. And then we would have moved on to the next line of questioning. But he was an original with Bob Schnelker as his offensive coordinator for a period of time. And no one was better than Burnsy as far as an offensive coordinator. He invented the West Coast offense.
What about Norv?
No. I mean, he was no Jerry Burns.
You heard how excited PA got.
I've heard PA got excited about a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true.
Over the years. Norv was fine. But Burns was really innovative. Burnsy was ahead of the curve, as they say, when it came to, with all the technology they have now and a lot of the other things. But, He'd let Fran drop, plays in the dirt at Met Stadium, but Bernsey was the man. He knew how to utilize Chuck Foreman in that West Coast offense like no one else had done before, as far as a receiver coming out of the backfield and the things he did. So he was special. So to answer your question, I mean, I heard KOC on with Barrero a little bit yesterday, and he said, "Look, I don't want to get into talking about doing the word salad bit with you because I'll get accused." He kind of laughed about it, which was good, very self-deprecating. But Bernsey would have a different word salad. Most of them you couldn't use on the air. They could never take Jerry Burns. Put it this way, I don't know if they ever did, but they could never do one of his news conferences live without having the 7-second delay.
Well, maybe he should have been better about that.
Couldn't help himself.
Well, yeah, you can.
Not really.
You have to be disciplined.
Well, he wasn't. Not when it came to because he got irritated at people like you.
I get irritated with you every day, and I don't, off the air I'll throw around some F-bombs, but on the air I don't. Bernsey
was Bernsey.
You're basically, making it sound like it was a great, that Bernsey, what a cut-up. He swore all the time. And,
it wasn't just that.
Maybe Bernsey shouldn't have been doing that.
It was a Burgess Meredith way of doing it. Okay, all right, Mr. Prim and Proper.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying, it wasn't like every news conference he was doing it, but there would be times that he would lose it with the reporters for asking questions that he felt like he had already answered any number of times, and so he would let loose. And the famous one is still on tape when people questioned Bob Schnelker.
Well, I think a lot of people, though, you see what happens is a lot of times the coaches won't ask the question, and a member of the media has a job to do, and that's to get to the bottom of things and find out what's really happening. And if the coach is going to be vague and doesn't want to answer the question, sometimes you gotta work them over
how would you like to have worked with Bill Belichick for all these years when he was with New England, when he just stiff-armed you without swearing?
Right.
He would just glare at you and give you a two-word answer. Can you imagine being a beat reporter for the Patriots all that time when Belichick would just glare at you and never give you anything?
That's those guys taking themselves too serious. Well, they think it's World War II. Belichick thinks he's George S. Patton. Yeah. He's not.
No, he certainly isn't at North Carolina.
He's not Douglas MacArthur.
I shall return, and he did, to North Carolina, not the Patriots.
I mean, he's just not.
No, but I mean, saying go through the personalities of all the different NFL coaches, to say nothing of college coaches, the NFL coaches, and some are very glib, some are really good at giving you good information, and many of them will just, as the season goes on, their patience runs a little more thin, they start losing games, they start verbally stiff-arming most of the reporters. You remember with Zimmer and Chris Thomason here. I mean, he could stand Thomason.
As far as battle strategy goes, who did you like better? Did you like MacArthur or Eisenhower?
Eisenhower, because he
you like Ike?
Well, I mean, he pulled off D-Day, and that was rather a major accomplishment, I would say, given the fact that he wrote, he was the man in charge and was sick about any possible defeat. And I absolutely was Eisenhower guy.
I really wasn't even looking for an answer. I was just
he just wanted to hear
just wanted to say Ike and
MacArthur.
That's all he wanted to say.
I shall return.
Okay, let's do this. We're going to go into a break. When we come back, the Twins were very busy this year. They weren't as busy as last year at the trade deadline, though last year they unloaded 11 players.
It's crazy.
Now we've acquired, I think it's 4 altogether, including we got the Hoffman character. We just acquired him, relief pitcher from the Toronto Blue Jays. So it's over. Trade deadline's come and gone. The Twins have made some moves to try to make this a meaningful baseball season. I think as we speak, they're a game out of the wild card and 3 or 4 out of first place in the AL Central. So we'll talk a little Twins. We'll get back to the Vikings as well, but we got a number of topics still to discuss. We're broadcasting live from the new Winter Park. It's the TCO Performance Center in Eagan. It's the site of Vikings Training Camp 2026, and this is our continuing coverage right here on The Fan.
To the Minnesota State Fair Grandstand. Yes, it's time. Weird Al Yankovic will be there August 28th. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis will be there August 29th. For complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page, KFAN.com. Keyword calendar. The Fan of BigTech.com going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is fun. The keyword fun at KFAN.com. Keyword fun.
So, Brett Legmore, let me ask you a question. That State Fair Grandstand lineup, did that include Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis?
Yes, it did. August 29th.
Well, I thought they were music producers. Are they going to sing and dance? What are they doing? I didn't know they did music. I mean, I thought they were like behind the scenes.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, I didn't know. Did you? What instruments do they? What songs do they do?
What songs do they've performed many times on stage?
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought they
songs?
I don't know Prince's songs. I don't know. I've never seen them in person.
I had no idea they even perform music. I thought they were just behind the scenes. I mean, like, were they part of Janet Jackson's group or anything, or do you know? Or?
I don't know. They're part of their group. I mean, obviously they produced all of her stuff, or not all of it, a lot of it. But yeah,
man, live here my whole life. I didn't even know that. Crazy. Though I did go when they invited Chad and Barrero and me to go to their Flight Time Studios. We got a chance to go over there.
Lucky.
Boy, that was. And you like music? You like music studios?
I like music. Yeah.
You weren't even working at the Fan at the time. That was back in like 96, 97, I think it was. We went over there, and that was a good time. We had, they rolled out the red carpet. We really enjoyed ourselves over there. So Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis will be, not Jerry Lewis, lady, but they will be at Minnesota State Fair grandstand. By the way, speaking of music, I had the opportunity today to spend an hour on the phone talking to Jim Messina of Loggins and Messina.
Nice.
He also played with Buffalo Springfield. He also played with Poco. He's coming to town August 25th and 26th. Got his own band now, the Roadrunners. He learned to play guitar at 5 years old. He's 78 now. Yes. Had a nice hour-long conversation. It's a special edition of Rock Talk, and you can find it on the Common Man podcast. Do I have like a podcast page? Is that what that's called? How does that work?
Yeah. Anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, anywhere where you get podcasts, you just search for Common Man Program.
Did you
never listen to a podcast?
I've never listened to a podcast in my life.
Not surprising.
You never listened to Rosen's podcast?
No.
Yeah, you missed a good
it's not
one.
surprising. I'm just not interested in podcasts. I'm only interested in the things that concern me. So that's like
it's kind of limited then.
Faith, family, fairways, and
Yeah.
finances. That's what I'm concerned
Got
in.
it.
But you can go if you like to listen to podcasts. Jim Messina was really, really good. So it was a lot of fun. I did it strictly just for me. I wanted to talk to him because he's one of my, I have musical idols.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I really enjoyed. And boy, from 20 million records sold. That's a lot of records. They were between 70 and 75. The only duo that sold more albums was the Carpenters.
That's unreal.
Karen and her sister Richard. So
there's by the way,
one of the purest voices in the world was Karen Carpenter.
No Rock Talk tomorrow with Brian Oakley.
Right.
We'll be back out here, so he's getting the week off. He can't do Thursday because he has to work Thursday.
Yeah, so we'll have a week off. We'll be able to.
You can maybe ask him Friday because both Lil B and I are going to be gone Friday.
You know
so
what?
Maybe you might want to.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. So, Twins, a trade deadline yesterday. They added right-handed reliever Jeff Hoffman in a trade with the Jays. 3 minor leaguers go to Toronto. Hoffman now joins a revamped bullpen. A.J. Minter and Tommy Nance were acquired earlier, and they also picked up starter Dean Kremer for their starting rotation. Your thoughts on the acquisitions the Twins made? 4 new pitchers on the club.
It's mind-boggling what this team has done the last 2 trading deadlines. A year ago, they traded all their top relievers for a bunch of minor leaguers. This time around, they trade a bunch of minor leaguers for decent, I guess I would call them, just decent fill-in guys that might.
Hoffman was really good last year.
Was.
He's had his moments this year. He's quality.
But, when you think of Louis Varland and Duran on this baseball team right now, they wouldn't be looking up at the wild card standings. They would be leading the wild card standings. So, it's hard to follow.
They might even be in first place.
They might be. They're
only 4 games out, 3 or 4, right?
Yeah, they're 4 back of the White Sox, who continue to surprise people and play pretty well. But there must be a huge disconnect in the front of the poll ads and the front office going, wait, what messages are we sending here? Listen, I was all in favor. I'm glad they didn't sell. We talked about it last week that, Ryan Jeffers was still going to be on this team, that Joe Ryan was going to be on the team. Obviously, Buxton had no desire to be traded anywhere. But you just kind of go back to last year's fire sale and you go, what were you thinking then? And why has it changed so dramatically in the context?
Well, the reason it's changed is because Tom Pohlad is now calling the shots and not Joe Pohlad. That's the difference.
I understand that.
But that's the difference.
Yeah,
that answers your question.
Well,
Joe was calling the shots last year. That's what Joe decided to do. That's why the family said, Joe, you're out. Tom, you're in.
They had to make some decisions. And they didn't empty the cupboard, certainly, from a standpoint of their top prospects. They maintained and they kept pretty much all of them, and a lot of them are still in St. Paul and potentially, will get a chance to play here in September, although there's some question about how that all is going to work with the looming lockout and how, getting attached to being a major league team, and if Walker Jenkins is on the team or Culpepper's on the team, will that prevent him, from playing in St. Paul next year when Major League Baseball is locked out at the beginning of the year?
Did you read Chip Scoggins' piece today?
I'm sorry, I did not.
Okay. Esteemed columnist Chip Scoggins, Fish Wrap Factory West Side. He and I text to talk more than most people know. He's a fellow Woodburyan. He wrote about the summation of what's happened with the Twins to this point with the trade deadline. He writes, Pohlad has made a lot of statements since taking over last winter about creating a culture to win back fans. He sounds sincere in wanting to create a new image for the organization and his family's commitment. Here's what he told the Fish Wrap recently, quote, "There's still the normal sentiment out in the public that they are highly skeptical of anybody with my last name leading this team. That's fair. Rome wasn't built in a day. We'll do our best just to prove that as quickly as possible. But I think fans in the ballpark do see a level of engagement that they respect and are cautiously optimistic about, maybe even excited about."
Fair.
And then what Chip goes on to write, he says that degree of self-awareness is admirable, but it's only words until accompanied by a substantive change in strategy. They had to approach the deadline as buyers. They only added $8.35 million in salary, which they can afford. When they tell you they can't, that is incorrect, because there is no rules in Major League Baseball that says you can only supplement your roster with contracts that are the money is solely garnered through ticket sales and TV contracts. You can go into your own personal wealth. Not every team does it. Some teams do. And you are allowed to do that. And so they've done that. So that's the change, is that, and I've talked about this over, and that's what I do like that, obviously. I think anybody would say they like Tom running the organization now rather than Joe or anybody else, because at least he understands what that's with a bullet. That's the number one thing, is that if your last name is Pohlad, I would be willing to venture that the Pohlad family is the most vilified ownership group in all the four major North American sports, men's sports, in hockey, basketball, football, and baseball. There's others too. I get that. There are
Bidwells.
There are other cities that have angered, annoyed, and angered their fan bases. But Pohlads are certainly up there, and Tom knows that had to be taken care of. I mean, I think. Maybe Tom really believes that the team can contend and win a world championship this year. I don't think any of us feel that way. And so you could say, well, this is just window dressing, just to try to placate a fan base, a customer base that's kind of fed up with everything. And that has a lot to do with it, but you have to start somewhere. So I'm not going to rip him by saying, oh, you're just doing it to try to get the fan base back. Well, he needs to get the fan base back, because it's like in any company. If you sell a product and the product isn't very good, well, guess what? No one's going to want to buy that product. And that's why the Twins, I think I saw in the paper today, fifth lowest attendance in all Major League Baseball.
Sounds about right.
That's as close to rock bottom as you can get.
Yep.
And that's even with a team that's having, standings-wise, pretty good season. And they've had some nice, even those two losses to Seattle this weekend, those were games in which, I hate to use the cliche, but the team never quit. They kept playing. They looked like
6-0 deficit.
They looked like they were out of both those games. They ended up losing them both. And one of them was because Lewis was just, he fell asleep at first base. I don't know if you saw it.
I did see it.
They bring in a fifth infielder. Yeah. They got one out. Bases are loaded. Sharp one, it was set up perfectly. Sharp one hopper to Lewis at first. He should throw to second, get him there, go back to the bag, get the catch. It was a bang-bang double play. Would have been simple. Well, what he did instead, or you could tag first, but then you got to go home right away. He did the opposite. He got the ball, he tagged first base, he looked at second, and then I think, my guess is somebody in the field is yelling at him, home, 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 because the guy going to second, he gets in a rundown, and the guy from third crosses the plate before you get him out in the rundown. It's over. He threw home off line and too late. Now, he was also the guy that struck out the inning before with runners on second and third, right? So he had two blunders in the game. Of course, the following game they ended up losing, he hits the 2 or 3 run homer that put him back in the game. So the guy, you got to take the good and the bad with Lewis, but the team is fun to watch. I mean, it
was an entertaining series this weekend. I watched most of it, and they were. You said they won a game, and they were in the other two. They were down 6-0. It was like basically, okay, I'm gonna flip this off. And all of a sudden, it's a. Lewis hits a home run. It's a 6-6 game, and then they try to find a way to win. And he hasn't played a lot of first base, and it's not like he had that mental sort of acuity to kind of figure out right away what to do. His instincts just did not take over because he hasn't played the position.
Well, somebody needs to tell him that.
Well, I'm sure they've told him, and I'm sure.
Well, they should have told him if they don't think he has an acuity. When they met at the mound, they should have told him if you get a ground ball, go second to first.
Correct.
But you would still think you've played enough baseball in your life, even if you haven't played the position. You're around baseball. You know how it goes. That's just a bad blunder. But again, those things will happen. But. It'll be interesting to see now. What happens during the stretch run. It's not a magic elixir. It's not like we got it's not like we got the 4 best, a front end starter and 3 great relievers. We have 3 quality relievers and a guy, a starter that he can be your 4th back end starter guy. So we'll see what happens.
Well, and it's important to have enough arms out there when guys get worn down, and you don't want to be able to have to go to your. Adams, whatever his name, one of the guys that he's out there that every other day he's not going to be able to pitch that often. So they got more arms, and that's really the name of the game. When you're fighting for a wild card spot, and the Twins are only a game out behind Cleveland, a team that's kind of sputtering a little bit, and they're 4 games back of the White Sox, who continue to surprise, 59-52. They made a move over the weekend as well. The team, again, we talk about payrolls and everything. I know it's harping on it all the time, but you wonder how Tampa Bay does this year after year. They're 20 games over 500. They're leading the Yankees by 3.5, and the red-hot Red Sox, who have been on fire.
Well, here would be my guess is how they do it is they have a really good farm system. It's like like we were talking about the Dodgers. They buy a lot of players. We get that. They free agency. They'll go out and get them when they need them. But they always have a good farm system. A lot of their guys are homegrown. If so, my guess is that's what Tampa Bay's been doing.
They have to.
And maybe that hasn't been the way it is, but that would be my guess.
Yeah.
We'll break. We'll come back.
Okay.
One more segment to go. We're live out here at the the new Winter Park, the TCO Performance Center, as the Vikings get ready for. The second day of padded practices. See if the 2 quarterbacks can perform a little bit better. Yesterday during the 2-minute drill, both quarterbacks, McCarthy and Murray, had an opportunity to try to put the team in scoring range. Didn't work out very well. We'll talk about that and other topics when we return. TCO Performance Center continuing coverage of 2026 training camp for the Vikings from Egan right here on The Fan.
The Vikings kick off the preseason next Saturday, August 15th against the New York Giants. Hy-Vee powers The Fan.
Final segment of the show today. We're back at TCO Performance Center again tomorrow from noon until 3. Not aware right now who our Viking guest will be, but they usually provide one for us each and every afternoon right around 12:50. Legendary Mark Rosen will join us again tomorrow, I'm assuming, and
yes, sir.
Much more fun and frivolity. The headline in the Fish Wrap Factory today was second day of padded practices. Will one of the quarterbacks step up and perform a little bit better in the 2-minute drill? Apparently, neither player performed well. I think McCarthy threw an interception. Murray wasn't able to get the team into scoring range. It's just padded practices. It's a controlled scrimmage. It's not like, we don't have a quarterback, but it's Tenneby and I joked about this, and we're not even half joking. Anytime they do the spring practices, Gopher defense was really great. Well, were they, or is it because the offense is bad and vice versa? B-Flow's got a reputation as a real good defense, so maybe that had a lot to do with it as well. But I think that's one of the things they're kind of looking for is that 2-minute drill. How important is that, especially if you got it going into the half, and then if you got the kickoff coming out of the half? That can be a complete momentum changer in a game, and so you want that 2-minute drill obviously be more successful than not. We'll see if they run any of those again today.
And that's why this whole thing with training camp is such a process now, and everything's under a microscope because of the added media attention, and especially with the quarterback situation right now, as we gear up for the first preseason game a week from Saturday, and then the 2 scrimmages against the Ravens here, and then the final 2 games. But a lot of all of this will be forgotten. I mean, I can't remember who was talking about it earlier today. If I heard to equate, when you got a Joe Ryan throwing pitching in a spring training game, and he gives up 4 runs in the first inning. He goes, well, I was working on some stuff. I was working on my changeup when I normally would never throw a changeup, in those situations. I'm not suggesting that's everything that goes on here. Number one, I've seen it year after year after year where the defense is definitely ahead of the offense right now. And this is why I think it is going to be important for KOC to name Murray. And I think that's going to be the given as a starting quarterback. Probably sooner than later. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow. Probably not till next week at the earliest. But I think it sends a message to the rest of the team, and also, more importantly, just understands that this is the guy that's going to be our starting quarterback against the Green Bay Packers. We need to work on these other things, splitting reps and doing these other things. It makes sense to a certain extent. I don't think it's hurting the team, but I think the message has to be sent that Kyler Murray is going to be the starting quarterback against the Packers in Game 1. And, we'll see how the rest of this thing stacks out. I'm excited to watch a lot of the guys on defense. Obviously, Caleb Banks comes to mind, number one, the behemoth they drafted from Florida, who was dealing with a foot injury, and that's probably why he dropped a little bit in the draft. But knock on wood that he's, again, it's very early that he's healthy. But he's a space eater, as they say, and he can be very, very destructive. So, and a lot of other newer guys as well. I'm a little concerned about, and I heard Nolan Teasley on with PA a little bit today. I still think they're going to be in the market to pick up one of those veteran rushers, pass rushers that's still in the market right now for kind of cheap. They're still out there, and Nolan Teasley kind of hinted that this could go well into August or September, even the beginning of September, before you sign someone. But I'm a little concerned about their depth overall, which is not unusual for a lot of teams, but a lot of younger guys have to step up. But I do like the look on paper about some of the younger players on defense that we're going to see this year, including...
you like Big Citrus, don't you?
Well, I like the combination of Big Citrus and Caleb Banks. This is kind of like the Williams Wall revisited. This is what you need. You need to have space eaters, guys that just can dominate the line of scrimmage that the Vikings tried with their 2 free agents last year.
Already making Williams Wall comparisons, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying they haven't had one like that. I think that's what they want them to be. They're not there, obviously, right now, but that's why they're.
That's your prediction, though.
Well, I think Caleb Banks is going to be, if he stays healthy, is going to be.
Well, that's the big if.
Well,
does it concern you at all that he's had the exact same injury 2 years in a row?
Well, not really. That's where they have a bevy of doctors. It's not to suggest that he can't. He's a big man. He's putting a lot of pressure on that.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of.
But you can't be afraid of anything if you do your due diligence, and you got 18 doctors that are looking at him,
including Dr. Wolf and Dr. Sheldon Burns, your 2 doctors.
I don't know if Sheldon's
same doctors you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And look at me. I'm walking around with.
Look at you.
6 weeks out from.
You're ready to play right now.
I can jog on the field. No, not quite. I need a lift to get here from the car.
But I don't mind them selecting walking boot Banks. I think it's a good. If he can stay healthy and perform like he has in college, he'll be a force. He'll be a really good player for the Vikings, and they were willing to take that chance on the injury and. He probably did. A doctor said he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I saw the quote from him over the weekend about he's getting tired of this foot thing and wants to move on from it. He also claims that the difference in rehab between college staff and a National Football League training staff is night and day.
Yeah.
He said they had me doing things here with the Vikings that I wasn't doing in college, and he said they were more aggressive and pushed him harder. So. Whether that's true or not, I'll have to take his word for it. He was there. So, yeah, my guess is when you draft him where you did, because if you'll remember, it raised some eyebrows around the league. People are going, man, really? We know he's good, and he probably had first-round talent, but coming off the injuries and such, do you really want to do that? Because was it 18th overall? 18th or 19th, I think? So they drafted him pretty high. But they're obviously that high on him that they think if
26
was it?
No. Never mind. I misspoke. It was probably like 18.
I thought it was like 18 or 20.
Yeah,
18 or 19. If they are willing to use a draft pick that high in the top 20 to select him, they obviously feel like not only can he be a player in the league, but he can be a cornerstone of our team for a long time, and they got to be right on it, because if they're not, I mean, not the end of the world. I mean, you miss on players all the time. It happens all the time. It might end up happening with McCarthy. Right now, it looks like they missed on McCarthy. We don't know that for sure yet because he's out there playing. He's young in his career. Things can change in a hurry. But, yeah, they need Banks to stay healthy because I think they're expecting him to be one of the best players on the defensive unit, if not by the end of this year, certainly in the next year or two.
Well, that's why they do their due diligence, and he's had, like Banks said, I mean, from the time they drafted him and got him in here and got him signed, I mean, he's had 3.5 solid months of rehabbing and doing the things that the Vikings training staff felt is the best program for him to get himself ready for this camp. And obviously, I don't think we'll see a lot of him in the preseason. I mean, he's going to get a lot of work now that they're getting, they got the pads on and going one-on-one, and he's excited about it. He's sick and tired of talking about the foot. But that's the way life is in the NFL until you get to play against the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love on in the second week of September at TCF at
Who do you like? Who do you like in that game?
Well, of course, the Vikings.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. At home, they better win that game. Yeah, I think it's a must-win, but yeah, pretty important win when you open up against a divisional opponent that you don't want to be chasing that long. And that's, they open up against the Packers and then go to Chicago. That's the NFL kind of getting things rolling right away, where you put that kind of emphasis, and then they usually wait till end of the season when you play a lot of your divisional rivals.
Two divisional rivals, important game. Both clubs are good. If you look at the odds makers, it's just odds makers. It's just that they're there to make money. But they think that the most of the odds makers I've seen, they figure the Lions are the front runner in the division, followed by the Bears and the Packers, and some have Packers second or Bears second, the other third. And they have the Vikings ranked as fourth in the NFC North. So these games become very important for the Vikings, these first two games. And Tenneby can attest to this as well, because Tenneby and I have done the research. Teams that start the season 0-2, only 12% of them end up making the playoffs. You
guys, every year when that happens, when you talk about a specific team, it's that stat comes up all the time.
There's Alec Lewis. You should have heard the hard questions. He was grilling.
Penetrating.
He was grilling KOC. He was grilling Addison. I mean, you could hear the sweat through the airwaves from KOC. Beads of sweat forming on his head with those tough questions. Very 60 Minutes like.
Yeah, very Mike Wallace like.
Yeah.
Well, after Alec asked it, then the TV, KOC will immediately point at a TV guy because he wants a softball thrown his way. So where's the TV guy? Yeah, you can ask me a question.
What's that supposed to mean?
You TV guys always ask.
Truth hurts, Rosey.
Yeah. You guys.
Oh, I can.
Boy, he was quick to correct Nordo, wasn't he? Did you hear that? Nordo introduced his daughters to Rose, and he said 40 years in the TV industry, and Rosen goes 50. Well, you were quick to let him know it's been 50.
He's a journalist.
Well, you got to be accurate. Yep. Yeah.
Let him know it was 50.
Nordo can't make a mistake in that spot.
No. Well, and he did.
Well, that's okay.
He made a mistake.
40, really kind of 40, but first 10 years didn't count.
Yeah. Well, in the last 10 years, you were coasting. So.
Yeah, he mailed those in.
I was working. I was starting to work with you, and you literally invented the word coasting.
Well, it was all because back when I think it was when we were Clear Channel before they said less is more. So I took them at their word.
Yes, you did.
Just the less I put into it, the more better. That is the
more better.
The more better it is.
That's right. Those English lessons.
How about I was looking at. I don't know. I think it was during. I was waiting for Rocket Mortgage final. That's what my life is. A beautiful day outside. I'm inside.
You're watching the Rocket Mortgage?
They've got a WNBA game, and it didn't go to overtime, and I was so happy because we've got overtime. I just want to see the golf, and it's nothing against it in the WNBA. But what I thought was interesting, they put the standings up there. I think we're the only team that only has single-digit losses. We are. Right. We are far. Are we far and away the best team in the W? I'm not even talking record-wise. We've got.
There are a couple games.
Was Fee the MVP last year?
She was runner-up.
Runner-up. Okay.
Right.
We've got the Rookie of the Year. Looks like for a certain.
She might be the MVP.
And she might be the MVP. I think we only have 6 losses in the entire season.
We're 3.5 up on
25 and 6.
25 and 6.
We've won 10 in a row.
Yeah, that was a really entertaining game.
This is a dynasty.
Well, it might just be the beginning of a new dynasty, considering what Cheryl's done.
Well, the whole thing is a dynasty, but it could be the beginning of a new one. I mean, this is a team that, and again, I'm not paying as close attention to the league as I once did. I don't know going into the season what was expected of. I don't know if we were anticipated to be one of the best teams in the league, or
they were second in the league last year. And they made some changes, but if once Fee got healthy, you thought they could be a playoff team that would make some noise. But I don't think anyone envisioned them being number one in the league without Fee.
Yeah. And getting Olivia Miles just changed everything. I mean, it just shows the importance of a point guard in any team, and I think the Wolves are hopeful that LaMelo Ball does for them what Olivia Miles has done for.
Well, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
For the Lynx.
That's what
they've been. That was a hugely entertaining game on national TV the other day.
And what I noticed in the Fish Wrap, I think it was the Fish Wrap West, it might have been Athletic or East, but I think it was Fish Wrap West. They did a recap of the Lynx game against Caitlin Clark's club. Is it Toronto Temper?
Indiana.
They don't mention Caitlin Clark till like the second to last paragraph of the story. I mean, and she's like the lead. Anytime she plays, any basketball story, win, lose, or draw, she's in the first paragraph. Caitlin Clark, 32 points and 12 boards, she was relegated, and I know, it was a Minnesota-based story, but still, she was relegated to the bottom, and she had a good game. I mean, I don't remember how many points. It was like 20-something, and so many percent. So they mentioned her, but it didn't come to the very end of the story. That goes to show you how good.
Well, you had the off-the-court side show, too.
You did have the off-the-court. Yeah, you did, where you had the transgender issue going on and such like that. But they didn't mention Caitlin till the end of that story, which I thought was interesting. It goes to show you how good this team is, the Lynx, and how much attention they're garnering from what they do. That, Caitlin Clark.
I'm assuming Fee will only start playing better, right? I'm guessing she's not, 100% back.
She's under, she signed a 1-year deal, and I think the speculation is, well, she's going to test the market and go out. Well, she very well might, but I think, who knows? She's very happy here. I don't know how the contract situation works.
Well, my guess is that's why she signed a 1-year. She does want to test it. And you know what? As much as you like it here, and I think sometimes we always feel insulted if a player doesn't want to come here, wants to leave here. But it's like in the grand scheme of sports salaries, they don't make any money, right? They just don't. It's not compared.
It's better.
It's better, but
I take their salaries,
right? But I know. Well, of course we would. But that's apples and oranges. I'm talking about in the grand scheme of pro sports. So, and their playing time is like anybody else. It's limited. Your WNBA career is going to be what? 4, 8, 10 years. If you're a star, maybe 10, 12 years. But so you want to get the most money you possibly can now. Now, I know they make a lot, if they do the endorsement stuff, but I wouldn't blame her if she said, I want to go, I'm going to go look around. That doesn't mean she can't.
That's why many of the players, the stars like Maya Moore and Lindsay Whalen, had to go play in Europe as soon as their season was over in WNBA. They make more money really over there than they did here. Now they have a new collective bargaining agreement, so the salaries have gone up.
Caitlin's brought in some more money.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's helped fill a lot of those arenas, and therefore the gate's gotten better, the TV contract's gotten better, and it translates to some of the players. Yeah, it was fun. Rocket Mortgage.
Fee's making $1.4 million this year.
Who is Fee?
It's better than I thought.
Yeah,
good for her.
Yeah, but I tell people this all the time.
Take taxes out. Yeah.
Car, spend, save. That's
right.
Did she start her own business too with the other basketball league?
She did that 4 on 4.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but yes, she's in charge.
I think it's 4v4, 3v3.
Yeah. She's got true contract. Good for her. She deserves all of that. I mean, she's terrific in everything.
You
she
should
does.
get a cane contract.
I really should.
Because you use one.
For now, I'd like to hit people with it.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
Yeah.
For a little while longer. We'll see how long.
You look great.
Man, I appreciate it.
I think you're getting stronger.
I'm not, because I haven't been able to lift in.
But I think you're recovering, because I tell you what, when you came in the first day,
I was hurting.
You were hurt, and you were a little hunched over, and I thought, oh my gosh! But you look better, way better. And that's meant as a. I'm not ripping you. I'm just telling you the truth. That surgery took a lot out of you. It does take a lot out of people.
My doctor told me that yesterday, and I'm back with my Fitness King tomorrow. I'll be able to do some lifting for the first time in 6 weeks, and I hate it. My cardio's awful because I haven't been able to do the elliptical or anything.
Right.
So I can walk across the kitchen and I get tired, but it'll get better.
Is there an actual, do they say, by this date, 6 weeks in, 8 weeks in, 12 weeks in, or whatever, then you should be
the worst thing you should do is compare yourself with anyone else, other than the fact that yesterday both my PT guy and Dr. Wolf said that you are ahead of the norm. I mean, especially with what they do is measure your range of motion, and it's at 125, 130 degrees, and I'm sleeping a lot better. So, and I'm icing still a little bit. It's just it honestly takes almost a full year to recover totally. So I'll be milking.
You're just an athletic specimen.
Yeah, right. I'm just glad I got it done. So by the state fair, I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. Guys may have to get a golf cart for me.
Looks like they're going through another running back drill. Let's go back down. We have running backs, Mike for sound. Let's go back down.
This is Claiborne, I think.
Yeah, this is Claiborne. He's going to get his first touch, it looks like. Let's go back down to the field. That's another fumble.
Man. Struggling with ball security today.
Trouble. You got to hang on. It's like when you're playing at the wick, you keep it below the stick. When you're playing football, you got to hang on to that ball.
Is Claiborne going to be the new Jahmyr Gibbs?
Well, they're making that.
We like to go like
comparison. Well, they're saying that he's that
fast.
So yeah, he's that type of back. He's fast and loose. Of whether that translates to Jahmyr Gibbs, like I mean, I don't mind drafting a running back there. Yeah. I mean, Ted and I were talking about this earlier. You know, the running back position got devalued for the longest time because. Matter of fact, they love signing guys to the 5-year contract. Then when the guy would get to his 4th year and say, when are we going to talk renegotiation? They'd say, we're not going to keep you. We're going to get the next young guy.
You're too old now, yeah.
You're too old. You were too beat up.
Too many miles on you.
We're going to get the young guy. But then when you see with some of these running backs, how they've changed the game, when you got your Gibbses is your the kid for Atlanta.
Robinson.
Yeah. Your
McCaffrey's.
Your Henry's is.
Yeah.
You get those players in the way they play. It's like, well, wait a minute. Maybe we were sending the running back position to the extinction being a little too soon, because those guys can be, it's so cliche, but there's a reason cliches are cliches, is because generally they're true. And when you have a balanced attack, defense doesn't know what's coming. And Max asked the question, Mike Max asked the question, and I didn't even listen to the response by KOC, but it's like, well, what makes a good running game? A really good running back or a really good offensive line? I think obviously the answer is both. But I think a really good offensive line that can make holes, most of these guys can get through, right? So that's what's going to happen. So,
fun times.
Yeah, good to see you out here. We'll see you here again tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. Well done back at studio. Brett Blakemore, thank Jared Wells for his work setting up the broadcast today. We enjoyed our visit with you. We'll talk to you tomorrow again from TCO Performance Center. It's continuing coverage of Vikings Training Camp 2026 right here on The Fan. Big Ticket, JG, they're next here on The Fan.